Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
Whoa.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So good. If What the Actual Fuck was a movie, out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Hello and welcome, Chuddle people, to a brand new episode. I'm always terrible at this.
It's fine though.
It just goes away like that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us for another very special Getting to Know episode. Before we get into it, of course, welcome Sam and Ross.
Oh, hey.
What's up?
How you guys doing? Thanks for being here.
How are you doing?
Surviving, doing the thing. Excited to be here tonight and get on with this. We also got to thank our coven, our patrons. You guys are awesome. And the Lifeblood, we thank you for your souls. And
Thanks.
What do I say? What is the
We
thing?
thank you, beautiful souls and
monetary contributions.
Yeah.
It's got to be written down. Not just welcome to the show written.
Well, thanks, Sam. All right. So let's just get into this for tonight. We have a very special guest.
Yes.
Please welcome Joe Lam. Thank you for being here.
Wow.
Hey.
Thanks for having me, Ross, Sam. Pleasure to be here. So
thank you.
Excited.
It's our pleasure. We kind of got hooked up through your upcoming movie coming out, which we'll talk about very shortly, The Fetus, which we're excited about. You probably saw on our Instagram, we shared a trailer for that recently. So we're here to get some questions answered and get into stuff like that. But to, I'd say, warm us up and get us going before we dive into all that. Let's get to know you a little bit, if you don't mind. How has the horror genre been a part of your life? Has it always been a part of your life? Is this something new that you're kind of into?
Well, it actually started with a movie way back, I'm sure you've heard, called The Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure.
And that freaked me out. I think I was like 12, 13, something like that when I saw it. Like, I shouldn't have seen it at that age.
The good ones always are.
Yeah, and the fact that it was based on a real life incident, oh my God,
Yeah,
So,
I think it freaked a lot of. I mean, it's known as one of the scariest movies ever. It terrified the pants off a lot of people.
yeah, you got like the head turning, the vomiting, it's just like, what?
It's really gross.
And it was, there's other movies like The Fly. I remember as a kid, I for 2 weeks I had to sleep in my parents' bedroom. There was a scene in the movie where like the fly comes through the window, and I kept thinking in my bedroom it was gonna come through the window at any moment. And it was just, I slept there in my parents' bedroom for 2 weeks till they kicked me out. So the fly gets to me, it grabs me.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome. So that's great to hear that it's been kind of something that's hooked you from a young age. Is there anything, I know you've mentioned obviously now the Fly and The Exorcist, any other maybe books or stories as well on top of that you found influential in maybe your upcoming film or your filmmaking in general?
Yeah, like I love Lights Out. Lights Out, just to me, I think because there's a lot of horror out there, a lot of slashers, and for me, when you can marry like something that's deep and meaningful, because a movie like Lights Out, it's really a story about abandonment for 3 generations of the mother, daughter, and then the boy. They're all afraid of being abandoned. And so when you can tie that in, so it's more than just scares and the blood and the killing and all that. There's a sort of deeper layer into it. And that's why I wanted to have something more deep and meaningful in the telling of The Fetus, especially with the pro-choice, pro-life themes and debate that embedded into there.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
And I think that's a good segue into the movie itself. I guess set it up. What is The Fetus? What is your what is it? What is it?
What is The Fetus?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely deals with a couple who they're struggling to learn about the origins of a pregnancy that was unexpected. And they have to figure out, what's going on with this. And the fact that it's not a normal pregnancy and that it's a danger to the woman as well.
Sure.
And to figure out the origins, they have to go to the girl's father's place. Her name is Alessa, played by Lauren LaVera, and the father is played by Bill Moseley. And, you know, of course, it's just kind of like it's meeting the dad, right? Seeing how that plays. Yeah. But in this case, it's like, this isn't a normal dad either, you know, Vietnam vet, and you know, he's blind, and he just, you know, of course, it doesn't approve of this guy because he's, you know, he's still got some growing up to do as well, you know?
Yeah, sure.
And I always like characters where it's like they're coming for a place where, you know, they're not quite whole. So you're going to see them, you know, get worse or get better. So at least there's like some kind of change or growth involved, you know? You know, we'll have to just see what transpires as a result of this. Are they going to keep it? Are they going to sacrifice it? Because again, it is a danger to her, right?
Sure.
And what is it about?
From the trailer.
What does it want? Does it have a mind of its own even?
Yes.
And if you've seen from the trailer, you can you gather, you know, what are your thoughts then? I would throw it back to you guys, you know, when you watch it.
I mean, it certainly is good to get you to want to see it because you see that, you can tell that relationship between the couple and the pregnancy and being at the father, and he clearly doesn't know him and doesn't know how to make small talk.
That's so good.
Yeah, something happens, right, to Lauren LaVera's character where suddenly she runs out and there's a little bit of blood on the ground, and the father, Bill Moseley, like comes over, and we know that he knows there's something with being pregnant in their family. I don't know. Obviously, that's why I have questions that I want answered, but no, something's wrong. She's out on the porch, and then something sort of happens, but like between her, like it's hard to see, but something is going on with that pregnancy that is not normal. I don't know if it's going to be a creature or what it is.
Well, this is okay. So I've watched this trailer about like 4 or 5 times now, and what I absolutely love about this trailer is that it's like it's like the quintessential trailer in the fact of like it gives you just enough information to be like, oh, but not enough. So it's like it doesn't spoon feed anything. So you're like, I was left with more questions, which made me feverish for the due date and fall, where I'm like, I need to see this movie.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I kind of had the same reaction that you guys had there. The initial, I was interested in the story. You could tell something suspicious was going on. The father maybe knew a little bit more what was going on. The tension was being built. And then you kind of wait for the end and the buildup of our little fun little
friend.
fun little friend, fun little fella, we'll call him. So, I mean, before we dive into our little fella, did you experience something like this in life, or where did this idea spark from?
Yeah, the exact same thing happened to
right? Based on a true story.
Right? It's a documentary.
Actually, yeah.
No, it's to be honest, I wanted to see something I had not seen in a horror film before. Oh. That was the main thing for me, because to me, I was seeing like a repetition, a lot of sequels, and I'm like, who is really breaking the boundaries now? You know,
sure.
And it's few and far between. And it's, if I'm gonna make a movie, especially my first film, because I've done a lot of shorts.
Yeah.
If I was going to come out with the first one, I needed to be something where, like, I personally haven't seen something like this before. And in a sense, like crossing over with the ideas of like good and evil.
Yeah.
Because it's technically it's a half human, half demonic fetus that she's carrying. And so it's kind of like, if you know that, how are you going to treat this potential child that you bring into the world?
Very true.
It's got the potential to be good. It's got the potential to be evil. And along the way, if it's doing certain things, but maybe the outcome in the end, it could lead to, you know, a positive outcome.
Yes.
Right. Justify the end.
It's kind of like that nature versus nurture. Like, that.
You got it.
Yeah, that's so good. I like that. I like that a lot.
But no, nothing like that happened to me in real life.
No half demon spawns or anything like that. Yeah.
No,
That's a good thing.
I would say the only things are, from the guy's perspective, Chris, who's played by Julian Curtis, I took some like commitment issues from my past and that I had to overcome, so I wanted to embed some of that into the male perspective, but it is heavily the female perspective in this, because she's carrying, this thing that could harm her, and that we really like delve into, so.
It's awesome.
That's awesome.
All right. So we talked about the trailer. We talked about the end of the trailer. We see a glimpse of some sort of, if obviously our fetus kind of like
fella.
popping out. Our fella kind of popping out. So I'm assuming this movie has a good amount of creature and special effects in it. I mean, from that glimpse, we got some goo, which was awesome. We
love goo,
especially, and I really do like the reveal is still shrouded enough that I'm like, man, I really want to see what this creature looks like. This is
yeah. Well, what are your thoughts when you see that creature? Like, it's just, I know it's not, you don't fully see it,
Oh, yeah. No, my immediate response the first time I saw it was, I think it was just a really slow, like, oh, goo. Oh, God. Oh, all right. Okay. Can I see more of that? I want to see more of that. Like,
I have to say, because that's a practical effect. And a lot of times when you see CGI, it's like it's perfectly framed.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Like
right.
if we were to do that in CGI, and like her legs, the framing, her legs are like,
right.
I think the artist would have made it perfect coming out of her legs.
Yeah.
The fact that like I was operating with another individual, that creature, we didn't get it perfect.
No, but I think,
but that makes it.
but there's something
better.
about practical. Yeah, there's something about practical effects in a film that will for me personally, that will outweigh CGI every single time. And just having that creature come out.
I mean,
So you were and another person were operating the like the creature, like the puppet.
Only for that shot. The rest of the time, we had a team. Two ladies came in and they were operating the various fetus puppets.
Oh, that's so cool.
Nice.
But the reason why it is expensive to do something like this.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
And it is tricky and it's time consuming. But another film that I absolutely love, The Thing.
Yes.
And that to me was just like, wow. Still to this day, it still gets me. Anytime that movie's on, like I'm hooked.
Oh, absolutely.
Honestly, it felt. We see so little, but it felt a little thing reminiscent because it's just like sort of a chord or a line. You know what I mean? It's just like something popped out, strung out, and I was like, "Oh, what's the rest of that?" Yeah.
Totally. Now, here's an interesting question because you bring like with The Thing, like how is it directing a I mean, obviously, I'm just basing it off of the trailer, but like directing like a creature feature or like a film with a monster in it. Because I'm assuming you and the special effects team, these two ladies, were attached at the hip for a bunch of shots, because it's like if you're dealing with a monster, you got to be so hand in hand with the special effects team while that's going through. Like in comparison, say, to the shorts that you've done, is this like was that just an added challenge to your main project, or did you have a lot of fun doing like kind of just having like these like co-pilots of special effects guys with you while you were directing?
Oh my God. You have to expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
We had a shot where at one of the puppeteerings, the hand like was not going correctly. So this thing going on. So then time to fix it, to figure out the wiring inside or you have to, put enough blood on it so it looks accurate, and it's just, or the movement, if it's like moving funny, or it's like defying gravity, somehow.
Yes.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, and it just ruins it. You have to go again and again and again. And it's just like guiding them along.
Yeah.
My perceptions in the beginning were to like, I thought I had to be like heavy handed and be like, do it exactly like this and that and that. But I realized that the puppeteers, they had been practicing with it for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I was like, just let them do it, because I've stepped in too much. They're listening to me and not themselves, and how in tune they are with each other, because a lot of times it takes two people to man all the
sure.
like feet
Totally.
puppets.
And that's a really smart way of looking at it too, especially like, I didn't even think about the pre-prepping with the puppet and the maneuvers and stuff even before getting on set.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was imagining this. Like, did you do like storyboarding and stuff for any of this? Like, because I'm thinking about the puppeteering and stuff, and just because we just talked about Chucky Child's Play 2, and they talk about the whole opening scene. There's a lot of like, the Chucky like being disassembled and reassembled thing was just like this crazy planned out thing so they could get it exactly how they wanted. So I imagine you had to have done something to that extent.
Oh, I'm meticulous when it comes to planning. Everything, every shot.
Sure.
And, at some point I might even like sell some of the original storyboards and sign them and things like that.
That's awesome.
Have them framed,
cool.
like I bought these picture frames, would probably, them individually placed in here and sell them,
that's awesome.
Whoever's interested. Yeah. And we have just other cool things, I'm sorry, I'm like getting into merchandise, but we have like condoms. Like, why not? Right?
I'm going to speak for the whole group. You can promote the fetus condoms anytime you want to. Like that is the best.
That's good with us.
Absolutely love movie marketing like that because it thinks so outside of the box. You know what I mean? Where it's just God, that's so fun.
We have a segment on the show.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah, we have one of our questions that we ask about any movie is like, what merch or prop would you want from this movie? And oftentimes we think of like fun things that they would have given away for the movie. And I don't think we've ever said a condom, a branded condom before, but that is brilliant.
That's
perfect.
That's chef's kiss right there.
The goal, one of our goals is, we can get this into theaters. Like, I would see if there's a way to get these into people's hands who walk through
right, exactly.
midnight show.
If you come on like
they're handed
night,
one of these,
God, that'd be so good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, without giving out too many spoilers, I guess, was there a particular scene or sequence in this movie that you just had so much fun shooting in comparison to the others? Was there one that kind of was like above the others as just like, God, that was just so much fun to shoot?
Lauren LaVera screaming her head off. I won't go into why she's screaming her head off.
Yeah.
But I mean, every time that this girl working with an actress who just gives everything in every single take.
Yeah.
Whether it's just like sitting there, just, eating from a bowl of soup or something, or just walking from one place to another, or like I said, screaming her head off and like just getting sweaty and hyperventilating and all that. And her eyes are bugging out. And it's just like, it makes my job so easy. So easy. Like I just let her go. There's almost no directing when you're working with an actor or actress who is operating at that level. And that's not to say,
that's awesome.
Anything bad about any of the other actors. They're fantastic as well. But with her and what she had to carry and the burden with this, being pregnant, the burden of pregnancy. Right? There was a lot on her shoulders to really perform and make it believable. And so that's so memorable to me, because again, it just made my job easy. I didn't have to say much to her,
That's awesome.
That leads me great to my question about casting. I guess I'm just curious about the casting process. Lauren LaVera has sort of become a more recent horror icon, and Bill Moseley obviously has been doing it for decades and is a legend. Did you have people in mind? Did you have them in mind? How did it come about?
Well, the interesting thing was Bill Moseley was my top 3 choice for this, and we got him. And so with the help of our producer Joe Barbagallo, was able to negotiate, make the offer with his agents, and then after that we were looking for, because we wanted to cast someone with a name for that particular role.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's an older role. Mm-hmm. And it's less likely to get a name when you have like the younger actors, because unless you're getting someone from like the TV world or someone who's been acting since they were really young, like 12 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
12 or 15. Right. So we were going for more unknowns in that sense, because just budget wise, all right, because we're a low production, we don't have all this money in the world that we can spend. And so I literally went through, it was a casting call that we did, and I went through 7,000 actresses to find 5,000 actors to find Chris.
Wow.
And once she came on with her audition tape, that was it. There was no question. I said, this is the girl. Like, it was awesome. Almost like, I don't even want to make the movie without this person now.
Right. Right.
Just leaps and bounds in what she was giving in the audition, that like I could like even take that and like put it right in the movie. That's how good. That's awesome. I kid you not. I was just wow, So, and then when Chris came on, it was just like with his audition, I was like, this guy is like, he's a natural. He gets the humor in it, and that was the key, because the humor is not. It's not like this slapstick comedy. It's not laugh out loud. It is like the awkward kind of humor that like a person has to embody and has to understand when they read the screenplay. Right. And he got it. He got it and he threw it in his edition.
And it reads so well, even in the teaser, like the interaction between Bill Moseley and him, first introduction is like, dog died. And then she literally goes, you're talking about Vietnam? Like, really? Like, just those comedic beats, and also being so awkward as well. It's just so good.
I mean, it must be a relief to get actors like I know you went through, over 10,000 for the 2 characters, but then you have people that you can almost like take a breath, like feel comfortable knowing you made the right decision, and it's just gonna make everything that much easier.
Yeah, and what's interesting is we cast Lauren before Terrifier 2 hit in the theaters.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Not knowing that was ever going to happen, and she told me about it. And I was like, "What? Some clown?
That's interesting.
Slasher movie?" I instantly thought like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Right? Yeah. Imagine to be hearing about that before. Not really know much. Had you not heard of Terrifier? I assume. The first one or anything, because I mean, it's still pretty fringe. I mean, Terrifier 2 is what really blew it up. The two of them. Yeah.
One huge.
Well, that's exciting.
Well, yeah, that's for it. Helps you out given what your movie is, to have another horror, like she's become a horror star just from the one movie. So,
yeah. So, and one last thing I'll say about in terms of casting, we had Bill Moseley, but we had to actually cast a younger version of Bill.
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, okay, I'd never done this before. I've never had to cast the same role, different ages. And, but luckily we had someone come in named Evan Towell, and he resembled him. And I actually got Bill involved in the process. I said, Bill, look, we've got all these actors who've auditioned to play your younger self, and I sent him audition tapes, and I'm like, who do you feel like, can best represent you?
Yeah.
Looks wise and performance wise. And he's like, this guy, Evan, right here. And I was like,
that's cool.
That's
done.
Awesome.
So nice.
I really like that.
Yeah.
So I'm the type that likes to involve the cast in their decision making, and not just be like, okay, here's your boyfriend, or here's your, mom or your dad. I'm just going to throw them at you. It's like, if they're willing to be a participant in this casting process, I will ask them,
Oh, that's super cool. And you probably get a much better acting performance when they're so involved with who they're going to be working with and getting the actor's perspective on kind of like the casting aspect of it. That's super cool.
Yeah. To me, it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. This is just sort of a silly one. The fetus, the creature, that I'm sure you had several. Did you keep one? Do you have one at home?
I've got them all.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
I've got them all. I don't know if I'll ever sell them or what. I don't know. But
No, that's awesome.
That's so amazing.
Sure.
I've done videos where I'm wearing it around my neck.
I saw one of those. videos. That made me when I was like, all right, I'm on board for this. I saw this little dangly guy.
Let's do this.
Got to break them out for Halloween.
Yes.
Use them as like porch decorations or something.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's like, I'm like, oh, we gotta. I think merchandise too, right? So
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Sure.
We gotta sell like gummies. You know, the fetus gummies. Really long strands of them.
Oh my God.
I feel like they need to be like gushers somehow.
Yes. Gushers would probably work better.
I'm there.
All right. Well, so this is a question we've asked other people we've had on. I know you said what excited you about the fetus is that it's an original idea. But let's say you were given the opportunity, or rather you could pick any existing IP or franchise or anything like that for you to make your own movie for. Is there something that jumps to mind immediately?
Existing IP?
Yeah. Anything. It doesn't, I mean, anything. You could say Indiana Jones, it could, whatever.
Oh, jeez. Oh, you're throwing anything?
That's my question.
Yeah, that is... honestly,
Why do we have to do the same questions?
I'm such a person who wants to see originality, that craves uniqueness. I'm honestly so tired of the derivative sequels and remakes. I don't even go to watch them. I have watched some of them. Doesn't excite me. And to me, it only waters down the original.
Sure, totally.
That's not to diminish the filmmakers who worked on these films. Just me personally, I have a need to create original stories, whether they're going to work or not. They have to be original. It has to be something that people have not seen before, have not experienced before. So, I mean, my next film is something that's going to be. When I share it with people, they're like, "Oh yeah, I haven't seen that." Or I haven't seen it done that way before.
Right.
And of course, then someone says, "Oh, here's a movie from way back that's similar to it." I'm like, "Oh, okay, but
sure, right.
Sure. There's
always some sort of touch points. People have similar ideas, different exection.
Yeah, different execution, different levels of even the world building. Because the world that was created back then was not the same world that I'm creating, that I'm writing.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's commenting on society, which you've talked about wanting to layer movies and not just being like splatter or whatever. If you're given this example of the fetus, and you talked about pro-life, pro-choice, that in say it was explored in a similar whatever in the 70s, 80s, 90s, any era, it's going to be different today. So.
Yeah, no, and I definitely respect that, and I love the want and the need to create something original. I think it's fun living in the world that we live in, just as people who intake all the creative stuff and just love to absorb it all. We get to experience. I'll take whatever the 75th in a franchise, but please also give me that originality too. I crave that as well. Like that really. I'm in that mode right now too. I want that originality, and that's driving me forward as well in terms of seeing all the awesome stuff that's coming out there. One of my favorite films, couple of our favorite films from the past couple of years have been all these like non-huge franchise IP types of things. So I love it.
I will mention sometimes when it's done really well, I absolutely love it. For example, the the latest Planet of the Apes trilogy.
Yeah.
My mind was blown. I'm like, that's a perfect sci-fi trilogy.
Yeah.
And there was like deep, like meaningful storylines in there, and they just elevated that IP. So
Sure.
I love it when it does happen. And I wish whoever's involved with these, like the sequels and the remakes, they took that level of care, like that those filmmakers did, with
exactly
that IP, because then it's just like it's mind blowing to me. And so
yeah, when there's the heart and the care.
Yeah,
for sure.
Those movies are awesome. Separate from movies altogether, do you have any hobbies? Anything you do to get away from all of this, or is this everything?
Hobbies. Yeah, I mean, my goal right now is to make this, to turn this into a career.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I've been at it for a long time, probably longer than most people.
Yeah.
Making short films, music videos, documentaries for 20 years. And the goal is always to make movies. And so
awesome.
I'm doing my best to shift into this as much as
this is the
possible.
hobby.
and find ways to have other businesses like real estate, so I do that as well, but I'm able to do it where it's not so time consuming. So it helps with the income, so I can free up my time to focus on this.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
And because we're indie filmmakers, we don't have we don't have
It's
regular like the studios are not paying me like on a weekly basis. I'm not
right.
Studio, you know what I mean? Like I have to go raise the money, to go make the movie, and like we don't make anything else until the movie gets out there. And if anything, the investors make the money back first, plus the ROI, and then it'll come to us. But it could take years, right?
Oh, exactly.
So, and other things. But in terms of other hobbies, just go to the gym once in a while, go to nature, go to the beach.
There you go.
Travel once in a while,
That's awesome.
But yeah, and it's just movies. Like I have to, movies are like they're like a cleansing for me. Like I have to go to the theater like at least once a week.
Yeah.
To see something. It's just like I get rejuvenized, by it.
I get it.
So
it's a nice little, I don't know. It's I have that same feeling when I get into a theater. I'm like, oh, this is the comfy zone. I get into my thing here and enjoy what I got. So then, speaking of other movies and such, any recommendation? Do you have any recommendations of other horror movies or anything that you've seen in the past couple of years that you were like, this was awesome, I think people should check something out?
I really love Talk to Me. I'm sure so many people see it, but but I was just like, all right, okay, this is finally there's another horror movie that's elevating the genre, and like they tricked me. I'm like, you got me. I didn't expect that to happen. I was like, what? Oh, so
awesome.
Yeah, and again, very original.
Megan was great.
Taking something we're kind of familiar with, what I mean, like seance and these types of things, and just totally making it its own.
And for the time,
did you just mention Megan? That was a fun one.
Megan was great.
I finally saw that.
Yeah, I mean, so
I had fun.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Again, this goes back to deep and meaningful stories in that.
I was going to say I was shocked that Megan actually had something to say and wasn't just like a killer doll movie.
Yeah,
right. Precisely.
Now that you've kind of tackled, for better or worse, a body horror movie with the idea of like, either pro-life, pro-choice, that kind of stuff. Is there is there another subgenre of horror that you kind of want to tackle next with a different kind of narrative? Is there kind of like anything that you kind of like, I don't know, kind of like brainstorm where you're like, God, this is really good. Like your next project, you know what I mean? Is there another kind of genre of horror that you'd be like, man, I'd really like to kind of like tackle something in that area?
I have some stories that or like just like, vague things of plots that are like way too extreme. It would just be too much. It's like social commentary.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even want to touch because, well, I don't know why my mind just goes there. But again, this goes back. I want to see something I've never seen before.
Totally.
And I won't even mention what it is. I don't think I'll ever mention to anybody whatever it is.
One of those things you write it down. You're like, no one's ever going to see this.
Write it down, burn it.
Because it would be, oh God, yeah. I have to wipe my mind right now. But, what I would be interested in doing is, furthering this story of the fetus and seeing how it continues on after the end of this movie. And having the characters evolve, kind of like how Walter White evolves in Breaking Bad. That's a fascinating TV series for me. A lot of times, right? A lot of TV series, like the characters kind of just stay the same the whole time, and everybody's safe. But like in Breaking Bad, they keep evolving, and it's like, oh my God, how bad is this guy gonna get? How much is he gonna ruin everything around him? So I, for me, if I'm making any sequels, I would want to see the evolution of the characters. So it's almost like you're seeing a new character every single time because they've evolved from previous. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Super cool.
Love to hear it. So I think we're gonna go. We got some rapid fires for you, real quick. See how you fall on a couple of these here. Classic monsters or modern slashers?
Classic monsters.
Yeah.
Jump scares or psychological horror?
Psychological horror.
Found footage or traditional narrative?
Oh, traditional narrative.
Supernatural creatures or human villains?
Supernatural.
All right. Werewolves or vampires?
Oh, God.
I knew this.
Oh, my God. Okay, that's... Oh, I love them both. Oh, you're just killing me with this one. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I mean, American Werewolf in London, and you're talking Dracula. You're talking Interview with a Vampire. Oh, my God. I am going to have to say vampires.
All right, you heard it. There it goes to the vamps.
God.
A creepy atmosphere or intense action?
Oh, you give me another one. That's like, oh, God. You're talking aliens, and you're talking versus like Rosemary's Baby now. Oh my God.
Alien versus aliens. Yeah.
My God. Yeah. Or versus Alien. Yes, exactly. So, please. Yeah, I'm going to go with my man James Cameron, my idol. Yeah. So,
all right.
Intense action. Perfect.
All right, horror comedy or pure terror?
I'll even though the fetus is like, more on the comedy side, I'm going to go with pure terror.
Awesome.
It's going to have to. Yeah.
All right, here we go for the heavy hitters now. Freddy or Jason?
This has been heavy. What do you mean?
Yeah, Freddy or Jason?
Oh, Freddy all the way. Freddy. He just has to.
Yeah.
Nice. Michael Myers or Leatherface?
Leatherface, because that movie shook me to the core. The first one.
Nice. I believe it.
Yeah. It'll do that.
Speaking of, I'm glad she came up earlier. Megan or Chucky?
Oh, I'm going to go with the OG Chucky. I'm sorry. Sorry, Megan.
No, I mean, don't blame you.
Right.
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter or Norman Bates?
Oh, Norman Bates. Yeah, again, going with the OG.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ghostface or Jigsaw?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, it's definitely Jigsaw. It's just the craziness of it.
Totally.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And last one here, Art the Clown or Pennywise?
Oh, Art the Clown. To me, that's the easy one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. You got it, right? Well, that does it for us. Thank you for coming on. This was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed you talking about this. We're excited for the movie. I have one last one. It would be, is there anything that the audience or people can do to help push the fetus along?
That's a great.
Get into theaters.
Yeah, how are we pushing this fetus out?
You want to accelerate the birth? Yeah. Oh, well, we filmed the entire movie already.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, we want to film an extended ending, like another 10 minutes.
Okay.
To really hit it home. We can release it as is, but we're like, there's more to this. So we're looking into raising funds either from our investors, other investors, or do a crowdfunding campaign. We're still
cool.
Trying to decide which route to go.
Sure.
So I can let you guys know, which.
Please do.
What we decide.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you're willing to support, with all these merchandise and gifts that like donors like traditional do.
Sure.
When it's like a Kickstarter or Indiegogo. And I've done it before for a short film, not done it at this level for a feature. But I think it is also a testing of the waters of the horror community, the fan base, to see if they really want it as well.
Right.
So that's kind of exciting for me to see if we can pull it off if we go that route. And if anybody just wants to follow us, whether it's, on our Instagram, which is #TheFetusFilm, we're going to be getting a TikTok handle as well. I'm changing my TikTok personal handle in 2 days to The Fetus Film. And our website, thefetusfilm.com, you can subscribe as well, because the more subscribers we get, the more likely we can launch in theaters when the time comes as well.
Because
that's
great.
Go to either distributors or theater owners, and get it out there in that way, because I would love to have the theater experience for fans.
That's awesome. Yeah, so do it, people. If you're listening to this, go out there, follow the fetus,
subscribe.
So we can get it. Yeah, follow, subscribe, do everything like that.
Follow
We're definitely
that fetus.
excited for it. When you do get it pushed out a little bit more, we'd love to have you back to talk about it, and anyone from the film, any of that. So we're an open door over here. But thank you once again so much. We want to say thank you for listening, and until next time, avoid the time loop.